all drunk on liquor. Cannot keep it stiffer in the bar. In the bar.
We're here in Juneau, the capital city of Alaska, and this is a wonderful city that has got some really unique things. You can't get here by road, you have to come by plane or boat or one of these giant cruise ships. Juneau is also a great starting point for your adventure holiday. You can do fishing, hunting, hiking, backpacking. This is a wonderful place to get started on. For the really adventurous, you can even go dog sledding. The fishing boats come in here at the bottom of the harbour. They're loaded into trolleys like this and taken over to this fish processing plant where they get put onto this big crane and put into a factory where they're cleaned, gutted and frozen before being shipped out all over the world. I just had lunch here at the Twisted Fish and I had a little known delicacy called black cod. We all think of Alaska with king crab and salmon, but black cod, also known as the sablefish, was really nice. The hustle and bustle of downtown Juneau, where you can actually feel the buzz of all the crowds here. They're all from their adventure around Alaska, which we are too. We've been invited down to Alan Weiser's place in Pybus Point, which is southeast of Alaska, and hopefully we're going to get some salmon and maybe we'll get in a little bit of whale watching. Well, you've built this beautiful home with your own hands. Why did you pick here?
Well, it's the location. It's Admiralty Island is 1.6 million acre national monument, and they call it Kootznohu, which means Kootznohu, Fortress of the Bears, the largest population of brown bears in the world.
Really? Just on one island?
On this island here.
Well, how did they get there? Did they have to swim across the sea or what?
They were put here a long time before us.
So don't you ever get lonely out here?
Oh no, we've got so many wonderful friends that love to come out here and enjoy the fishing and the sightseeing with us all the time.
I believe we've got a whole bunch here already this weekend, and you're going to be taking them out fishing too.
Fishing and shrimping and everything.
Well, let's get to it.
Okay, let's go. I'm looking forward to it. Have a beautiful day out there. We've got flat, calm water and beautiful sunshine in southeast Alaska, and we're gonna go out there and have a great day for fishing.
I know, I'm so excited about this. We're just about to leave and go out fishing for salmon. We're going to go and check the crab pots, and I've just been told that we're going to maybe see whales, which is going to be really exciting. Tell me where we're going to go see the whales.
Oh, right out here by the San Juan Islands, and the Brothers Islands out there. There's a good area that a lot of feed are for the whales out there, and you'll see them in this flat water.
Yeah.
You'll see the giant spray.
Oh God, this is so amazing. Oh, that was so amazing. We are right over the top of this whale, and he doesn't seem to be that bothered by us, and he's just come up right next to us.
That was great timing, good water and everything. See how when they blow the bubbles, they go in a circle and they blow bubbles out, and whatever fish is down there, like herring, the herring glob up into a ball, and they go to the surface, and then he'll come up underneath them and scoop them up. And that's what's called bubble net feeding. And you see that out here all the time.
Now that is really good size eating, isn't it?
That's a perfect size halibut, right there. Those are the best eating of all.
I'm not going to hold that thing.
Oh no, I'll hold it.
That is so...
There you go. It's really easy to, fillet a halibut like that. Basically, you just have to follow the lines on that. You have your head right here, and halibut is really unique. This is the only part of the halibut that has this is the stomach. This pectoral fin right here. And you kind of feel it soft here. If you go up
see
here,
it's squishy and then it gets
feel
firm.
hard right through here.
That is a really nice feeling fillet. Look at that.
And there's your fillet.
That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful fillet. Come and have a look at this. Look how many there are. Hey everybody, this morning we had such a wonderful day. We went out there, we saw the whales, we saw the sea lion, we saw the black-tailed deer swimming across to the island, and we also caught some halibut. You saw us fillet them out on the boat, and so we're back here in the lodge, and we have a guest chef today, Joe Washburn. We're here at Admiralty Island. Couldn't think of anyone better to show us how to cook halibut. Welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for coming onto the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Lynn. Thanks so much.
And tell us what you're
That
going to
is
do
nice.
with the halibut today.
Well, halibut is a very fleshy, very non-fat fish, so you do need some care when you want to work with it. And I can tell you one thing, it's fresh out of the waters here. You're not going to get it any better. This is actually straight from the water to the pan to the table. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to do a seared halibut with a sauce cooked in the same pan. So
Okay.
anyone can do this. It's pretty simple.
Great.
First thing what we want to do is we want to make sure that since this is a saltwater fish, we want to generously season it with salt to bring the salt back into the fish, okay, because a lot of it's extracted.
And I see
So-
you're using kosher salt.
Absolutely. It just has a little bit cleaner of a taste than iodized, so I prefer it over iodized salt. And so we want to generously season this, okay? And then we'll come over here to our pan and we'll start with a little bit of olive oil. Just maybe 2 teaspoons. And you want to cook the pretty side first, and the reason for that is because you can cook this exactly as long as you need to because it's the presentable side, and if you need to cook the other side a little bit longer, it's not seen. We'll come into our pan here, and we'll start the halibut.
Now, halibut is also a very gentle flavored fish. It's a very mild flavored fish.
It is very mild, and that's why I recommend cooking it with acidic wines or sauces to kind of bring out a little bit more flavor in the halibut. And then again, with the salt, you need to be generous with any seafood, but especially halibut on your salting. So
Okay. Tell us what your ingredients are.
So we'll start with about a half of a red onion, and we're gonna throw them in the pan here in a minute just to kind of get them some aromatics going and some of the onions to be translucent. And I like to build flavor, so even though we season the fish, we're also gonna season the onions.
Okay.
Anytime you're cooking or sauteing, you wanna build the flavors as you go, okay, to kind of get your masterpiece at the end. We have a nice Sauvignon Blanc, which is a very acidic wine. I think it's gonna be a great touch, some lemon, cream, and some dill. So
Well, dill, of course, goes really well with any seafood, doesn't it?
I think so. I think it just is a perfect match for whitefish. Maybe some salmon as well, but mostly whitefishes it suits well. We're going to go ahead and go in with our onions, okay? And we don't really need a long time with the onions, just about a minute or two. And you can already smell the onions coming in the air, so and that's what you're looking to get.
There's nothing actually that smells nice than onions. So how's our halibut doing? It must be getting
Pretty
close
well.
to-
We went about a minute and a half. Once we get it to the color that we want for the presentation side, then we'll go ahead and flip it over, okay? And so now we're gonna go in with our white wine and deglaze the pan a little bit, get some of those flavors to come up, which is known as fond lier. So once that wine is reduced, almost au sec or completely dry, we'll squeeze in some fresh lemon. All right, and then we'll go in with about a half a cup of heavy cream. Now this is just for one person, okay? You can always increase the amounts and do dinner for 2 or 4 if you'd like to.
And the thing with heavy cream, when you start cooking it like this, it boils and it thickens itself. You don't have to add flour or anything like
No
that.
roux, no.
And in
right.
fact, you don't want to put a flour in because flour, it doesn't matter how well you cook it, has always got a flavor at the end of it. So it will change the taste of the sauce that you're cooking. So you, on something as light and as fresh as this, you don't want to be putting in any starches. I have to tell you, I'm starving. We've been out all morning. You know, let me complain a little bit about, again, seeing the whales and catching
Sure.
the fish and doing all that stuff. And this is smelling so good.
Well, thank you. You know, I can tell you, every time I go out fishing, I don't know what it is. I work up the biggest appetite. You know, these halibut up here are huge. Yeah, some of these fish, they take half an hour, 45 minutes to bring up. So when you do get it up to the surface, every minute of enjoying it at the table is something that you can remember and enjoy. We are ready to go ahead and plate this up now. And I'm going to pair it with some asparagus today.
And that sauce has really thickened down.
Oh, absolutely.
There's almost none of it left, just enough to serve.
Right,
really.
just enough to serve for the one person.
If
So,
you can turn the pan so you
Yeah.
can see.
and because of the caramelization, that's why the sauce is a little bit brown there. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, some of the sugars have released, and this is going to be really succulent. I can't wait for you to try it, Lynn.
It looks fantastic.
And if you'd like, you could strain it off or maybe make the sauce a little less thick if you'd like to go that route. But this is how I like to prepare it.
This looks absolutely fabulous and smells unbelievably good. And of course, as I said to you, I'm absolutely starving. We went out today, the most remarkable morning I think that I've probably experienced. I'm going to tuck in and actually have some of this delicious looking meal.
How'd I do?
Joe, that's going to become an absolute favourite of mine.
All right, great.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Well,
here
thanks
today.
for having
We
me. I
really
appreciate it
enjoyed
so much. Thank you, Lynn.
And, you know, to you at home, this is something you've seen. It took us 2 minutes to do. You can do this at home. These are all ingredients that you have at home. You don't have to go and buy anything special. Although I have to tell you, you might not have quite as nice halibut as we've got because we caught it just this morning. So Brendan, this afternoon we went out and we caught a whole bunch of shrimp in the pots. And what we're going to do with these is make a really old-fashioned shrimp cocktail, which was fashionable in the 70s, long before you were born. But it's coming back into fashion now, and actually it's one of my favourite dishes. It's really a nice way to do shrimp, especially on a lovely summer day like we've had today. In the hot weather, it's a good cold dish. So let me show you what we're going to do. You need to snip along the back here, because what we're going to do is get rid of the vein. And the vein runs along the back end of the shrimp, and it's filled with yucky, ghastly stuff, which you need to take out, because that will make your cooked shrimp, or while it's cooking, if that's still in with the flesh, it will make it taste bitter, which you don't want to do. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these shrimp now and we're going to put them into some boiling water. So we're going to pour in a whole bunch of salt, probably about 2 tablespoons. We're going to put this straight into our steaming water, which is seawater, that's already full of salt and is going to be fabulous and flavorful. And we added some extra salt just to give the shrimp some flavor and make it come to a fast boil again. You don't want to cook shrimp a lot. Okay, so Brandon, so you can see we've got it really, really quickly coming to the boil.
Yeah.
And look how beautiful that is. Look at the colour of those shrimp.
Looks
Can you
very
see how
good.
they've changed colour and gone like really bright?
Yeah.
And that's what you want. That is telling you that these shrimp are cooked. These are now boiled and we've cooled them off, and we need to take off the shells. Now tell me, do you know how to do that?
Kid, I'm pro. I can do anything.
Okay.
All right.
Have at it.
All right. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, so if you squeeze the tail
Okay.
and give it a bit of a pull, that makes it easier. And it comes off in one piece. Sometimes. Okay, so what we're going to do is make a sauce to go with that. And to do that, we're going to start off with a little base of mayonnaise. Just if you've got time to make your own mayonnaise, that's really nice. Probably about three tablespoons. And 1 or 2 teaspoons of horseradish sauce. And this is obviously going to be to taste. I find that I really like having some horseradish sauce in it. I think it gives it a good bite. But that is something that is a personal taste. Horseradish, of course, is a root vegetable, and it's the British use it an awful lot, like with roast beef and so on. And you grate it, and it's quite sharp. And then we're going to do a couple of teaspoons of tomato sauce. You know what tomato sauce is?
Tomato sauce?
Tomato sauce. I knew you were going to say that. And so we're putting in 2 teaspoons of Worcester sauce.
Wait, what's Worcester sauce?
Well, again, Americans never say Worcester sauce properly. I think you guys say Worcestershire sauce, but if you go to Britain, which is where Worcester is, that is exactly what it's called, Worcester sauce. Although it's spelled Worcestershire. And we're going to cut up a couple of spring onions because they really do give a really nice flavour and a little bit of sharpness again. And we want some of that green in, and just give it a quick snap and throw it in. Mix it up. And we're ready for your shrimp when you kind of get finished there.
Sorry, I had a bad teaspoon. Just kidding.
So I'm just going to taste this and see what it's coming out like. Nice and spicy, but I am going to add a little bit more mayonnaise to that because you also want it to taste a little bit creamy. And then we're going to throw in some hot Louisiana sauce, which is again to taste. I like a bit more. You know, I'm a youngest child, so there's always like a bit about adding a little bit extra. And some salt. And some pepper. And that's pretty much it. We do want to put some lemon juice into it, which gives it a good tang. And that's it. How easy is that? Are you going to remember that next time you go home and you can impress your mum?
Maybe. No.
If I write it down for you in capital letters?
Yes. If I remember to look at it.
I think you might get that one. That's really nice. So we've got a nice lettuce here, nice and green. We're going to throw that into the bottom of our serving bowls. Again, we're just chopping it up pretty roughly, which I know no one says you're supposed to do. You're supposed to shred it. I just think that's a load of nonsense. I think it doesn't make any difference to the end flavour. If you're serving it straight away, which you do want to do with this dish. If you're going to chop it up and leave it in the fridge, then it does bruise by cutting it. And then we're going to throw on some avocado, and we've got these beautiful avocados which are lovely and fresh and ripe. And you know, the way to tell whether an avocado is actually fresh, whether it's ready to eat, is to press on the end here where you've got don't go and poke all over it because you will bruise it.
Okay.
But if you poke on the end here, just gently press it with your thumb. If that gives, the rest of the avocado is actually ripe.
All right.
Okay, so Brandon, you finally finished peeling my shrimp for me. And we're just going to throw those straight into the sauce.
Okay.
And give them a very gentle stir. And that's it. They're covered in the shrimp sauce, and we're then going to put them on top of our lettuce and avocado. And that is a really old-fashioned shrimp cocktail, which, as I said to you, went out of fashion a long time ago, but they are a really good dish. It's a really good starter. good, great salad when you're on a hot day, like we've had today, in Alaska. So that's it, Brandon, we've finished. That took us, what, 10 minutes? And there you go, fresh Alaskan shrimp cocktail. What do you think?
It's great.
Fresh seafood, it doesn't get any better than that. We just caught these 20 minutes ago out of the sea. We're here at Pipers Point Lodge in Alaska, one of the most beautiful places I think I've ever visited. Stay tuned and we'll show you some more.